today I want to talk about a contradiction that we see coming from the French government. Um, on the 18th of April, so just a few days ago, it was announced that, President Macron announced that he was calling on the researchers of the world to choose France and Europe in general, and that he was actually going to meet with them on the 5th of May, so in about a week. Interestingly, he made a very bold statement, and I think it's actually a good one, right? You need your politicians to inspire you, and obviously, he's making these comments against the backdrop of what's happening in the United States, which we all know. And but he had a quote here that I thought was very interesting and inspiring at the time I read it, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. He says, "Here in France, research is a priority, innovation is a culture, and science is a horizon without limits." Right. So I thought, wow, it's kind of like a rally, right? Like a call to arms in the science world, right? In the context. And I thought, okay, well, that's fantastic. That's what the world needs, quite honestly, right? More science to inform policy, right? This was on the 18th of April. On the 26th of April, so just like a few days later, the government announced that they cut back 3.1 billion euros in credits for the ecology, the economy, and research and superior education, so higher education, right? And the reason is, the minister in charge of public accounts, Amélie de Montchalin, I probably butchered the name, so I apologize. She's explaining that given an unstable world, they need to cut back on 5 billion euros, so they can be better positioned to deal with whatever is happening in the world in an increasingly unstable world, which fair enough. I mean, who can really blame governments equipping themselves to anticipate, something bad into the future, which is not outside of the realm of possibility. We see what's happening between India and Pakistan. I honestly thought that the war in Ukraine was going to come down or wind down, I should say, and that peace was within sight, given the new administration in the United States. But if I'm completely honest, and obviously there's so many facets to that conflict, I don't actually see that thing winding down. If anything, it just seems poised to be prolonged, right? So which is not good, by the way. I mean, it's terrible. So in that against that backdrop, I always wondered why are European governments not better positioning themselves to anticipate, a global shock? And I think that this is really a manifestation of that. That the French government anticipates that the world is going to remain unstable for the foreseeable future, and against that backdrop, they've got to readjust their accounting, right? And so they explain what's going to be cut. So ecology and sustainable transportation, they're going to cut back 549 million euros for that. The economy, research, and higher education, they're going to cut back 493.3 million euros from that. And from agriculture and rural affairs and food, they're going to cut back 140 million euros. So I mean, and then at least they go on to explain why they're doing what they're doing, right? So recent degradation of macroeconomic conditions make them have to anticipate that, yeah, the world is pretty unpredictable at this point, and that they need to readjust their public accounting. So, yeah, I mean, I understand why they have to cut back on the research and development and sustainable um, efforts, but it still it's disappointing, right? I mean, it's hard to kind of digest this information within a few days, how reality changes, right? So on the one hand, you have an initiative that I think anybody would have supported, definitely in Europe and in France, and then on the other, you kind of hit the reality of the economic wall, so to speak, and it kind of reorients your efforts. So yeah, we're going to keep an eye on this one, but just to say that whenever a government announces something, give it some time and always look at the economy, right? It's always the economy, it's always public financing. Is it actually possible? Are they telling us how they're going to fund it? Is it funding in the long run, right? These are all things we have to be on the lookout for because, yeah, just announcing grand strategies, but not having any like public financing behind it or private financing behind it, yeah, it's probably not gonna take off. So anyway, let me know what you guys think, and let's keep the conversation going.